Hello student, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Sushma Talegaonkar from Department of Pharmaceutics, Jamia Hamdard. Student, we are going to discuss about the module sterility testing of pharmaceuticals and test for pyrogens in injectables from paper Pharmaceutical and Biological Evaluation. The objective of the present module, they are first one is to understand the various aspects associated with the sterility testing of pharmaceuticals. Second, to know about the methods of sterility testing and criteria of sterility of various dosage form. To study about the pyrogen testing of the injectables and to know about the methods of determining the presence of pyrogen in injectables. Now, before starting the various types of the test we generally used for sterility and the pyrogen testing, let us focus on some important points on sterility and the pyrogen testing. So, the sterility testing is an important requirement for the most of the pharmaceutical dosage form. In case of parenterals, along with the sterility, the pyrogen testing is of equal importance. So, before introducing any batch of dosage forms, especially ophthalmic, parenteral, etc., the sterility and pyrogen testing is done to ensure the batch is safe and free from any microbial contamination. The test is applied to substances or the preparations which, according to the pharmacopoeia, are required to be sterile. However, a satisfactory result only indicates that no contaminating microorganism has been found in sample examined in the conditions of the test. As per, IP sterility test is performed as follows. For achieving the aseptic condition for performing the test, the grade A laminar air flow cabinet or an isolator is recommended. The working condition for performing the test must be monitored regularly by carrying out control tests. Sterility testing. Sterilization is the process of removing microorganisms. Sterility test is used for determining whether a pharmaceutical product or component is free from any contaminating number of microorganisms or pyrogens. According to the Indian Pharmacopoeia 2007, the sterility testing is for determining the presence of viable types of microorganisms that can cause the serious issues and harmful effects. Objectives of sterilization. So before starting the sterilization process, let us see what are the objectives of the sterilization process. So the first objective is generally, the sterilization process is generally used for validation of sterilization processes. Then the second is to check the presence of microorganism in sterile preparations and to prevent the issue of contaminated products in the market. Now the important aspects of the sterility testing. Random sampling is done representing the whole batch. The test is carried out in sterile premises. The chances of contamination during the test should be avoided. Appropriate nutrient media is needed for carrying out the test, and the test cannot be carried out for the complete batch. Sterilized products. There are so many sterilized products: injections, syringe, needles, dressings, bandages, implants, ophthalmic products, and surgical instruments. Number of the components to be tested in each batch. Number of components present in the single batch and minimum number of the items are to be tested. First one is the parenteral products. Not more than 100 containers, 10% or just 4 containers, whichever is greater. More than 100 but not more than 500 containers, 10 containers. More than 500 containers, 2% or 20 containers, whichever is less. For large volume parenteral products, 2% or 10 containers, whichever is greater. Number of components to be tested in each batch. Second one is the ophthalmic and other non-parenteral products. Not more than 200 containers and more than 200 containers. The limits are 5% or 2 containers, whichever is greater, and 10 containers. Number of the component to be tested in each batch when the product is surgical dressing and devices used. 2% or 5 packages, whichever is greater, catgut and surgical sutures and other sterile medical devices for use up to certain maximum of 20 closed pouches. Not more than 100 packages, either 10% or 4 packages, whichever is greater. More than 100 but not more than 500 packages, and more than 500 packages. The limits are either 2% or 20 packages, whichever is less. The another product is the bulk solids. The number of the components and the minimum number of the items are to be tested will be discussed. Less than 4 containers, then each container we have to test it for the sterility. If the containers are 4 containers but not more than 50 containers, either 20% or 4 containers, whichever is greater. More than 50 containers, either 2% or 10 containers, whichever is greater. Culture medium. For carrying out the sterility test, culture medium are needed. These are the nutritive medium in which the microorganism can grow. It should have the following properties. It should have a following properties: sufficient moisture, adequate pH, adequate nutrients, and appropriate redox potential. Classification of culture medium. So here we are discussing what are the various types of the media they are available for sterility testing. So this media, they are generally divided into the two types. First, the media we generally use for detection of aerobics, and another media which we can generally use for detection of anaerobes. So for the detection of aerobes, they are generally the peptone broth, glucose peptone broth, and for detection of anaerobes, they are this media are cooked meat media and the semi-fluid meat medium. For the detection of aerobes and anaerobes both, then the media we generally use, that is the fluid thioglycolate media. And for detection of aerobic and lower fungi, then the media we generally use, that is the soybean casein digest medium. First medium is soybean casein digest SCD medium IP 2007. The ingredients and the quantities which are required. The ingredients are the pancreatic digest of casein 17 grams, pancreatic digest of soybean meal 3 grams, sodium chloride 5 gram, diabasic potassium phosphate 2.5 gram, dextrose monohydrate 2.5 gram, and distilled water to make the volume up to 1000 ml. Another media is fluid thioglycolate medium IP 2007. The different ingredients and their quantities, they are given in this table. The ingredients are L-lysine, L-cysteine 0.5 gram, sodium chloride 2.5 gram, dextrose 5.5 grams, granular agar 0.75 gram, yeast extract water soluble, that is the 5 grams, pancreatic digest of casein, that is the 15 grams, sodium thioglycolate 0.5 gram, or thioglycolic acid 0.3 ml, then the resazurine 0.1% fresh solution 1 ml, and distilled water 1000 ml. Alternative fluid thioglycolate medium IP 2007. The constitution is again the same as fluid thioglycolate medium. Now the sterility test. What are the various tests which are generally used for sterility testing? There are the two methods that are used to determine the sterility of the product. First is the membrane filtration method, and another one is direct inoculation method. Membrane filtration method. The method has certain features. First, an exceptional skill. Second, the specific knowledge, insight, or in-depth. Third, random routine uses of positive and the negative control. Now, the apparatus required for this membrane filtration method. Approximately 10 CFU of the total volume is used for viable microorganisms. Second step, filters are made of cellulose nitrate for oily and alcoholic solutions. Pore size not greater than 0.45 micron in size and diameter approximately 50 millimeter is used. Diluting fluids used. These diluting fluids, they are generally used in membrane filtration method for the cleansing of the membranes. So they are generally, their main purpose is to inactivate the antibiotic or the antifungal activity for any class of the drugs for sterility purpose. So here we are, first we are taking the fluid A as a diluting fluid, and let us see the composition and how it is going to be prepared. So the 1 gram of the peptic digest of bacteriological peptone, that is from the animal tissue, was dissolved in water to make up the volume as 1 liter. Then the solution was filtered or centrifuged to clarify. Then the pH was adjusted to 7.1 plus minus 0.2. Then this solution was dispensed into 100 ml flask and sterilized at 121 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. Now the second diluting fluid is fluid B. If the test sample contains the lecithin or the oil type of the preparation, then 1 ml of polysorbate 80 was added to each liter of that fluid A, and the pH was adjusted to the 7.1 plus minus 0.2 and then dispensed into the flask, and then it was sterilized at 121 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. So this fluid B, the composition is same as fluid A, only the difference is that we are using here polysorbate 80 because this fluid B we are using for oily preparations. Membrane filtration method, it is a continuation of the previous slide. This method is used for the following type of the preparation: aqueous type of solutions, liquid immiscible types and aqueous vehicles and suspensions, oil types and oily solutions, and ointment and the cream types. The membrane filtration method. This is the one of the most important method for the sterility testing. The techniques of membrane filtration is used for filterable aqueous preparation, for the alcoholic or the oily preparations, and for the preparation miscible with or soluble in aqueous or oily solvents, provided these solvents do not have an antimicrobial effect in the conditions of the test. Now the methodology, how we are going to perform this membrane filtration method. It is mandatory to dilute the sample with an appropriate diluting fluid, like we have already discussed the fluid A and the B. So according to the type of preparation, you can use the fluid, either fluid A or B. Then the sample which we want to test for the sterility is then passed through the filter membrane with negative pressure, that is under the vacuum. Then the membrane is then finally washed with sterile diluent, and the membrane are removed aseptically after filtration and cut into half. So there are the two half pieces we are having. The membrane is then immersed in 100 ml of medium and incubated at 20 to 25 degrees centigrade for 7 days to see whether any growth is going to occur or not. So the conclusion is that if after incubation, if we are finding any growth or turbidity in the media, then the test is going to be failed. So the test is considered to be satisfactory or passed when no contaminating microorganism have been found in the sample, or in another word, no turbidity is going to appear in the media. So this is generally we can say the test has been passed. Now the advantages and disadvantages of the membrane filtration method, which we have discussed earlier. So in the advantages, the small volume of the broth or culture media is required for membrane filtration method. As we have already seen, the 100 ml media is sufficient. Then large volume of the sample can be tested because through this membrane we can pass a large amount of the sample, any this parental preparation or any liquid preparation which is used for the parental, then under the vacuum or under the pressure we are going to filter. So the large volume of the sample can be tested. Then this method is applicable for almost all types of the products, and the subculturing is eliminated in this particular method. Now let us see the disadvantages. The disadvantages of this method is that highly skilled staff is required. This is the one of the most important disadvantage. So anybody we are recruiting for a parental section, the first that person has to be trained. Then second is exceptionally the good aseptic techniques are required. And the third is adsorption of sufficient medicament may vitiate the test procedure or the test samples. Direct inoculation method. The sample is directly inoculated with the culture media and observed for a period of incubation of 14 days. The diagram is showing how to perform this direct inoculation method. First, this sample is directly taken up by the sterile pipette, and this sample is going to be transferred into the tube which is containing the media. Proper aseptic condition has to be maintained, and the particular test tube we generally put in the incubator at a 37 degree temperature and for 1 week. And after 1 week, if we found any turbidity or the growth inside the tube that indicate the sample is not properly sterile or sample is containing microorganism in the preparation. Method of testing. So in this particular slide, we are discussing the various steps which are involved in the direct inoculation method, which is the another important method which we have already discussed for the sterility testing. So the content from the test containers were removed with a sterile pipette or the syringe or the needle, and adequate quantity of the test preparation was transferred directly into the prescribed volume of culture media, and that's why this method is called the direct inoculation method. And after transferring the material in the media, the inoculated media was incubated for not less than 14 days. Then after inoculation and incubation, what is the conclusion? How we can predict whether the sample is sterile or not? So the product is to be examined, complies with the test for sterility if no evidences of the microbial growth is found in test tube or in the media. And if the evidence of the microbial growth is found in the form of turbidity or some black color material has been found in the tube, then the product is to be examined, does not comply with the test for sterility unless it can be clearly demonstrated that the test was invalid for causes unrelated to the product to be examined. This direct inoculation method is applicable for powders which are soluble in water, solutions which are miscible in water, substances like cotton and gauges, oil and oily preparations, ointments, sterile devices, and transfusion or infusion assemblies. Culture mediums used for this direct inoculation method. The various culture mediums that are used in this method are nutrient broth media, cooked meat media, and thioglycolate media, and Sebor media. Now, interpretation of the result. After direct inoculation method which we have performed, how we can interpret the result? So, if the no bacterial growth is observed, then the sample passes the sterility test. The retest is carried out and original containers are reserved. If again no growth is observed, then the sterility is confirmed. If the growth is observed in the retest, the microbes are isolated and identified. If the microbes are identified or it is found to be different from the microbes in the retest sample, then the test is passed. And if the microbes are same as the reserve container, then the test is failed and we have to repeat the test again. Pyrogen testing. The pyrogens are the agents which are responsible for increasing in body temperature when injected into the body. Most common pyrogens which are of significance in pharma industry are gram-positive bacterial endotoxin. Endotoxin are part of the outer membrane of the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria. These bacteria constantly shed endotoxin into the environment as they grow and multiply, as well as when they die and disintegrate. The bacterial endotoxin can either exist in a cell-associated state or in a free state. The classification of pyrogens. Pyrogens have been divided into two classes. First one is endogenous pyrogen, is a low molecular weight protein that is produced by phagocytic leukocyte in response to stimulation by exogenous pyrogens and released into the circulation. It induces fever by acting on the preoptic area of the hypothalamus to raise the set point of the hypothalamic thermostat. Second pyrogen is exogenous pyrogens, is a fever producing agent of external origin. Example, bacterial endotoxin and other microbial products, antigen antibody complexes, viruses and synthetic polynucleotides, incompatible blood and blood products, and androgen breakdown products such as etiocolanolone. Sources of pyrogens. The sources of pyrogen in parenteral products include: first, water used at the end stage of the purification; second, crystallization of the drug or excipients, water used during the processing; third one, packaging components, chemicals, raw materials or equipments used in the preparation of the product; Fourth one, the presence of endotoxins on devices may be attributed to water in the manufacturing processes. The fifth one is washing of the components such as the filter media. Sixth one is washing or rinsing of the tubing or other plastic devices prior to their sterilization. Physiological effects of pyrogens. The pyrogen elevate the circulating level of inflammatory cytokines, and this cytokines produces the fever, blood coagulation, hypotension, lymphopenia, neutrophilia, and elevated levels of plasma protein, acute phase protein, and this is called the pyrogenicity. The low doses of pyrogen include asymptomatic inflammatory reactions, and moderate doses include the fever and changes in the plasma composition. High pyrogenic doses result in shock characterized by the cardiovascular dysfunction, vasodilation, vasoconstriction, endothelial dysfunctioning, and multiple organ dysfunction or the failure. Pyrogen testing. There are the two tests for pyrogen test. First one is the Lal test, another one is the Rabbit test. Lal test is also called as an in vitro test, while the Rabbit test is called in vivo test. The sham test or in vivo test or the Rabbit test. This is the test by which we can determine the pyrogens present in the sample. The principle of this test is the measurement of the rise in the body temperature of the rabbit following the intravenous injection of sterile solution of the substances being examined. Animals used. In this particular test, we generally select the same variety of healthy mature rabbits weighing less than 1.5 kg and should maintain the balanced diet. They should not show any loss of body weight during the preceding week of test. Temperature measurement. The accurate temperature sensing device such as the clinical thermometer graduated in 0.1 degree centigrade or thermistor or the probes are used to measure the temperature of rabbit. Insert the thermometer into the rectum of rabbit to a depth of not less than 6 cm and record the temperature. Material used in this test. The glasswares and the syringes, they must be washed with the water for injection and heated to 250 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes or 200 degrees centigrade for 1 hour in hot air oven before starting this test. Now, this rabbit test or the sham test, they are divided into the two steps. The first one is the preliminary test and another one is the main test. Now, the preliminary test. In this test, first we select the fresh animals or the animals not been used during the 2 previous weeks. Then they are conditioned for 1 to 3 days. Then withhold the food from the animals before 2 hours of the starting the test and access to the water may be allowed. Record the temperature of animal using the thermometer. After 90 minutes, give the intravenous injection 10 ml per kg pyrogen-free saline solution. Then record the temperature of the animals after this intravenous injection at an interval of 30 minutes and continued for 3 hours after injection. Animals show temperature variance of 0.6 degree centigrade should not be used for main test. So it is carried out in the room without disturbance and temperature variance must be plus minus 3 degrees centigrade. Main test. The preparation of the sample. First, dissolve the test substances which we want to for the pyrogen testing in a pyrogen-free saline water and warm the liquid to the 38 degrees centigrade before giving the injection. Then the steps are following for this main test. The first 3 groups of selected rabbit, that is a preliminary test pass rabbits, withheld food for 2 hours before experiment and during the experiment. Then record the initial temperature mean of 2 measurements at an interval of 30 minutes. Then the rabbit showing a temperature variance more than 0.2 degrees centigrade between the 2 successive readings should not be used. Then use only those rabbits that do not deviate a temperature variance of 1 degree centigrade between the two successive readings. Then use only those rabbits that do not deviate a temperature variance of 1 degree centigrade between the two successive readings, and then inject the sample into the marginal vein of the ear of 3 rabbits not less than 0.5 ml per kg and not greater than 10 ml per kg body weight. Then record the temperature of the animals during a period of 3 hours at an interval of 30 minutes. Interpretation of the results. If the sum of the response of the group of 3 rabbits does not exceed 1.4 degree centigrade, and if the response of individual rabbit is less than 0.6 degree centigrade, the preparation being examined passed the test. If the responses of any rabbit is 0.6 degree centigrade or more, or if the sum of the response of 3 rabbits exceed 1.4 degree centigrade, continue the test using 5 other rabbits. If not more than 3 rabbits show individual response of 0.6 degree centigrade or more, and if the sum of the response of 8 rabbits does not exceed 3.7 degree centigrade, the preparation being examined passes the test. That is the absence of pyrogen in test samples. Now, advantages and disadvantages of this method. Advantages: this method can be replicated and demonstrate the production of the fever in human beings. It also detects all kinds of injectables, pyrogens, unlike the LAL test. Disadvantages: it is a time consuming, expensive procedure, it is pass fail test then assay, and it cannot be used to test the certain drugs that depress the fever. Comparison of pyrogen test of IP, BP and USP. Number of rabbits, maximum total peak response, that is in the degree centigrade, to pass the test, and minimum total peak response to fail the test. Number of rabbits, if it is 3, then USP and BP says the temperature according to the USP should be 1.4 degree centigrade, while according to the BP it is 1.15. If the rabbit number is 6, then there is no response or no temperature has been indicated in USP, but according to the BP it should be 2.80 degree centigrade. If the number of the rabbits 8, then the USP says the maximum total peak response, that is in the degree centigrade, should be the 3.7 degree centigrade. If the rabbit number they are 9, then according to the BP it should be 4.45 degree centigrade, and if the rabbit number 12, then the response or the degree centigrade response should be 6.60 degree centigrade. Minimum total peak response to fail the test. According to the USP, if you are taking the 3 rabbits, then the response should be 1.4 degree centigrade, while in case of BP it is 2.65. If you are taking the 6 rabbits, then the minimum total peak response should be 4.30 according to the BP, and in USP they have not mentioned. If you are experimenting on the 8 number of the rabbits, then according to the USP, 3.7 degree centigrade is the minimum total peak response. And if we are taking a 9 rabbits, then according to the BP, it should be 5.95 degree centigrade. While if the numbers are 12, then the response should be 6.60 degree centigrade according to the BP. LAL test or in vitro test. That is also called the Limulus amoebocyte lysate test. It depends on gelling property of lysate of amoebocytes of Limulus, that is a horseshoe crab. LAL reacts with the bacterial endotoxin or lipopolysaccharides, which is a membrane component of gram-negative bacteria, and forms the basis of LAL test, which is used for detection and quantification of bacterial endotoxin. The lysate is mixed with an equal volume of test solution in a depyrogenated container. The tube is then incubated at 37 degree temperature for 60 minutes. The positive reaction is indicated by the formation of the gel or clot. This slide is again showing how this LAL reagent is react with the sample. So LAL react with the bacterial endotoxin or lipopolysaccharide, which is a membrane component of gram-negative bacteria, and it is forming a gel, which is then used for the detection and quantification of bacterial endotoxin. So we are taking the sample, we are putting the LAL reagent, and we are incubating this sample which is containing the lal reagent at 37 degree temperature. Gel formation if occurs, then the test is showing the positivity. Limitations of the lal test. First one is, it is generally disturbed by the endotoxin binding components like the lipids and blood components. Second limitation is difficult to correlate with the rabbit test or in vivo test. And third one is the false positive for cellulose and many herbal preparations. This is a ray diagram which is showing what are the different steps for this LAL test. It is generally determined by measuring the concentration of the toxin present in the test solution. The lysate-derived amoebocytes of the horseshoe crab, Limulus polyphemus, is used in this test. So the diagram is showing we are taking the sample, specified ml of LAL reagent dissolve, then incubate at 37 degree temperature for 1 hour, and the gel formation is going to be occur, and this gel formation indicate the presence of endotoxin from the gram-negative bacteria. Nowadays, the 6 following methods are described in the current European pharmacopoeia. The first one is the method A, that is the gel clot method or limit test. Method B, that is a gel clot method or the semi-quantitative test. Method C, that is a turbidity metric kinetic method. Method D, that is a chromogenic kinetic method. Method E, chromogenic endpoint method, and method F, that is a turbidimetric endpoint method. The gel clot technique, that is method A and B, allows the detecting on clotting of the lysate in the presence of endotoxin. Kinetic model, both method C and D make use of the linear regression of the logarithmic graph with that of the concentration of endotoxin. Endpoint method, that is method E and F, are based on the quantitative relationship between the endotoxin concentration and the quantity of chromophore released at the end of incubation period and their respective turbidity of the reaction mixture. The reagent used, they are endotoxin reference standard ERS, purified endotoxin of freeze-dried Escherichia. Second is control standard endotoxin, that is CAC, routine use for the bacterial endotoxin testing in standardized agents, the EARS. Water BET, prescribed test only for the bacterial endotoxin for the preparation of under examination and determining the water that gives a negative result under the conditions. Fourth one is 0.1 molar SCl BET, prepared from the hydrochloric acid using the BET with the pH adjusted up to 6 to 8 with 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide BET, 0.1 molar NaOH BET using the water BET with pH adjusted to 6 to 8 with the 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid and prepared from sodium hydroxide BET, it gives a negative result under the condition of the test. Then the sixth one is the lysate. It is reconstituted lysate of species of horseshoe crabs, Limulus polyphemus or Tachyplestridinatus. Application of LAL test. Pharmaceuticals, parenteral dosage form, large volume parenterals and small volume parenterals. Biologicals in blood products and the plasma fraction, vaccines. Medical device, nebulizer used in respiratory therapy. Diagnosis of the disease caused by the gram-negative bacteria in food and drinking water. Others for validation of dry heat sterilization. Other pyrogen test. In vitro pyrogen test, IPT. This test exploits the reaction of monocyte or macrophages detection of pyrogens. Human whole blood taken from the healthy volunteers is incubated in presence of test sample. Pyrogenic contamination initiates the release of the endogenous pyrogen. Interleukin I beta is determined by ELISA after incubation. Depyrogenation. There are the certain methods how to remove the pyrogens. The first one is the removal of pyrogens by the physical methods. This method comprises of dilution, ultrafiltration, reverse osmosis, distillation, adsorption on charcoal or column chromatography. Second method is inactivation of the pyrogens. It comprises of dry heat sterilization, moist heat sterilization, use of dilute acid and bases, and oxidation and alkylation. So, the students, let us summarize what we have learned from this module. So, the first thing is the sterility testing is the important test to be performed before releasing the finished product in the market to ensure its safety. The second main important aspect of this particular model is the test is very specific and unique for all dosage forms and has to be performed very carefully and under the aseptic conditions to avoid the contamination while testing. Pyrogen testing is essential in case of parentals as it can cause the serious physiological issue to the patient. And this pyrogen testing is mainly done by the sham and the lal test, and thus determining the sterility and pyrogenicity of a pharmaceutical dosage form is very important aspect. Thank you.